down the road, feeling bad. Going down the road, feeling bad. Going down the road, feeling bad. Hey, yeah. Wanna be treated this way. Going where the water tastes like wine. Going where the water tastes like wine. Going where the water tastes like wine. Wanna be treated this way. Going down the road, feeling bad. Going down the road, feeling bad. Going down the road, feeling bad, bad, yeah. Wanna be treated this way. Suits my clothes. Going where the climate suits my clothes. Going where the climate suits my clothes.
Good evening, everybody out there. Thank you so much for joining us for our final round here at Texas Motor Speedway, wrapping up week 3 at the moment. We got our GT1s and our GT3 classes finishing up a little bit of practice at the moment before we jump into our qualifying and race sessions. This is what things look like at the moment. Currently 6 of the GT1s out there, but as you can see, they're not much faster than the GT3s tonight. I would have expected them to really dominate on the straights, but looks like they are not taken over like expected. You can see the pole positions there. Excuse me, Bryce Carter and Eric Foss are in the same class. And adjust our race info real quick before we There we go. We got 115 degrees out there on track. It is only 69-degree air temp out there. We're in Fort Worth, home of Dimebag Darrell. Nice little commentator tidbit there. And as you can see, I mean, there's generally with an oval track, there's not much you can do with the infield, but it does, you know, mimic other oval infields like Daytona and Charlotte a little bit. And that is that's a couple of the Corvettes out front. We have not seen that for a moment, with a lot of guys running the Aston Martins in the GT1 class. How I am not able to adjust that session info up at the top, and if you cannot read it, we only have 1 minute and 20 seconds left in this practice session. I'm pretty surprised at how quickly some of these guys have really adjusted to the Lamborghinis this season. Apparently it is pretty easy to drive, but still, I'm Ferrari through and through with the GT3s. Ain't bad either. Ooh, this Carlos cutting a little. Ooh, he's so shiny. Look at him sparkle. Let's see. Excuse me, that was the points from the last race. I'm not trying to see that at the moment. All right, and that does it for our practice. And we're going to go right into our Disco Tech Shadows. Vincent Wood here running the new M4 GT3 model, which also has a model run in the GT4s. That is Michael Johnson, who is marked as a GT1, I believe, but he is most certainly a GT3 car. He's coming across the line to start his first hot lap. Corey Mitchell finally hits the track out there in that big, blubberous, loud Corvette. First across the line is Dustin Burkhalter for the GT1s, doing a 1:13.7 time to beat by Tommy Regan, that is, by 1:13.2. 6-0 is the time to beat. Ali Salih comes across the line first for the GT3s, doing a 1:14.9. Bryce Carter into second place, and Craig Ream into third with a 1:15.493. Carlos Lopez hits the checkered line with a 1:13.150, but a tenth faster than Tommy. Mike McCoy pushes himself up into third. John Miller goes fastest overall for the GT3s. Michael Johnson slots into 13th. Tyler Pierre Richards right up to second place. Sorry, make that third. Jordan Benches gets on the board. He's good enough for third in class. Corey Mitchell late on the scene. So he and Troy Banks, who like to leave things late usually. Bryce Carter goes fastest for the GT3s. Tommy Regan doing a 1:13.1 to put himself on pole position. Corey Mitchell in the grass, not where he needs to be for this qualifying session. We're almost halfway done with 5 minutes to go. Still enough time to put in a couple laps. His lap time's only about 1:13 out there. Just got to keep it on the black stuff. Bjorn pushes himself back up to third there, just ahead of Dustin. Dustin not able to go any faster. And it is really tight down here in the back end of the field. Craig crosses the line, not able to go any faster. Casey crosses the line, not able to go any faster. Mark Bray crosses the line. And that was not a clean lap for Mark. Up top, it's Carlos Lopez, who takes pole position for now and runs straight into the wall. He's so happy about it. Bryce Carter returns to the pit lane after... is that Bryce Carter? Because that looks like a GT1 machine, if I am not mistaken. Let me check on that in a moment. Here is John Miller in his R8. And I'm sorry to say, I think I had that one wrong. I think Bryce Carter is most certainly in a GT1. That is a GT1 Corvette. Excuse me about that mistake on pole position there. That is John Miller, who is actually on pole position. And that is the way it is supposed to be. With Ali Salih sliding into second place, John Miller still doing the laps. Corey Mitchell only good enough for 5th place there. Not where he wanted to be. He will have enough time to do at least 2 more laps. Troy Banks does get on the board. It's only good enough for 13th. Eric Foss has not qualified this session. Ken Kruger not improving his lap times into the top 10 at the moment. Jeremy Lapinus up to 6th. Tyler Pierre Richards is in 3rd and is not going anywhere at the moment. Troy Banks heads through turn 1. Corey Mitchell does put in a decent lap, gets himself on the front row of the grid at least. But I imagine that inside will be so vital, and he's got to look out for 3rd place yet again in another race. Tyler still sitting there. Jeremy crosses the line. He moves up 1 position into 5th, relegating Craig Ream down to 6th. Less than 2 minutes to go here in qualifying. Algi pulls to a stop. That's all he's going to have. Troy hits the oval for his final time. And he practices his pit lane entry. Corey Mitchell still out on track. He comes across the line and he gets that pole position, getting into the 112s with a 112.841. He puts himself on pole position, and more importantly, on the inside for turn 1. So that is amazing right there. And last guy out on track, it is Tyler Pierre Richards has found the skinny pedal down there. Major bit of understeer there. Not a good exit, but you can imagine if you're just sitting on the track for a couple minutes, your tires will get pretty cold out there. Maybe he's just gonna, no, he's not even gonna have enough time for his pit lane entry here. As we're watching him approach the pits, let's check out our track info. Looks like it's still 115 degrees out there. Now it is 95. It's definitely dropped by 20 degrees there, so we'll see if the drivers start to notice that. Ah, the tiny grid again. I'm so sorry about all these hiccups. Hopefully we can get it rolling in just a moment with some sizes that Eric can see. Let's run through it down there in race format so everybody can read it along with me. That's Corey Mitchell on pole position. He's lining up next to Carlos Lopez. Tommy Regan follows next to Bjorn Benches. Dustin Burkhalter and Bryce Carter round out the GT1s we have on track. John Miller pole position for the GT3s, lining up next to Ali Salih on the outside. Tyler Pierre Richards and Michael McCoy on row 2. Then we have Jeremy Lapinus, Craig Ream, Vincent Wood, Kent Kruger's in 8th position. Michael Johnson and Stephen Liston round out the top 10. Brian Zinn, Richard Swindells, Troy Banks, Craig Tessiter is in 14th. Casey Kuntz, Mark Bray, Ajit Kandambi, David Fendick is down in 18th place, followed by Andrew Rasmussen, Michael Bond, and hopefully Eric Foss if he remembers to jump in his race rig in the next 10 seconds. Out front, though, it's this man, Corey Mitchell. And he gets us rolling out there. Out front here is Corey Mitchell. Giving the pace car lots of room, waiting for it to go in. Everybody's ready to punch it. Carlos Lopez not quite side by side, but with him at all. More side by side with Tommy Regan, who might get that inside track. He does not, though. There is enough space between them already. Further back, the swarm of GT3s starting to mix up back there. Down into the first braking zone. Corey takes to the inside. That's Tommy Regan way to the outside. Everybody is very courteous about it. And not too much barging through the first couple turns, which is always good to see. It's such a dense field, and there is somebody back there. That's Michael Johnson, I believe, who spun around in the grass or in the middle of the turn. We will check on that in a little bit. Back out front is John Miller and Corey Mitchell. Let's run back to see what had happened into turn 2 here of the infield section. Did he just spin it on his own with some cold tires? He kind of did, and then had a little helping hand. Spun him around a little bit more. Out front, here's the battle for the lead. Ali Salib right on the bumper of John Miller, battling already. The battle for third is still going on. That's Michael McCoy behind Tyler Pierre Richards into turn 1, trying to get his nose into the inside, having none of it. Oh, and that's Corey Mitchell with a big problem already, with a big dented front end, and he's down to 4th. Carlos Lopez Jr. storming away with it. Let's see what had happened back there. Out of turn 1 in the infield into turn 2. Oh! And Carlos just goes for it and does not, gives the place back, and looks like Dustin there really giving him a good punch. on the inside. Carlos up top, Bjorn benches, now behind Corey Mitchell. Corey back up to third. Ali Salih still trying to stay in the slipstream there. And there's a problem with Bjorn. I don't know what happened. He decided to give all those places up. Bryce Carter and Tommy Regan it is. Go through. Side by side, that's Michael on the inside of Tyler into the braking zone. He's got that one done. John still holding off from Ali Salih behind. Ken Kruger has, Steven Liston to the inside there. He ends up being more respectful than you would think. That could have ended very badly. Ken Kruger's night was ruined the other night just at turn 1 there. It is not his favorite location. That's Michael Bond on Richard Swindell's. David Fendick seemingly having an issue somewhere. Ali just trying to get the best slipstream possible, best turn out of there. It is such a long oval. Let's see what he can't do. Not really able to do it on the outside there, and the grip's not there, and he's slipping away. As it almost seems more camber just down in the pocket right next to the inside line. He's gonna have to give it up and go another lap. Michael McCoy still holding on to third place from Tyler Pierre Richards behind. Oh, that's Troy Banks to the inside of Casey. And it just looked like a racing incident as they come together. That's Michael Bond now hunting down Casey. Michael Bond and Casey Kuntz now by Richard Swindell's, who must have just gotten a little loose there in the infield. Tommy Regan sets the fastest lap of the race. Bjorn is now getting passed by the GT3s. He must have had something happen. Ali breaks very deep into that corner. Steven Liston. Oh, almost holds on to it, just barely kisses the wall. He's able to get out of there though, loses 3 or 4 positions doing so. Dustin Burkhalter just holding on from Corey Mitchell. That's bringing Tommy Regan into play behind them. Bjorn, realizing he's fallen off, is now trying to not wreck the fight for the GT3s. Up there. Corey to the inside trying to get second place back. He's got it. Even with that damage, he is so quick out there. And it's so important to follow so closely in the infield, so when you exit that final turn, you're just 0.3, 0.2 or 0.3 behind. You can really make use of that slipstream and draft. Corey Mitchell has 1.5 to make up on Carlos Lopez Jr. Tyler is closing up on Michael ahead. He takes to the inside. Oh, he almost does. It's a great Ferrari Lamborghini battle coming into turn one. Tyler takes to the inside and he's got it done, but Michael might get the cutback here with his Ferrari on the inside. He's got to cut back over to the racing line, but Tyler is not able to throw his car in there and stay with him. Tyler's now got to worry about Jeremy Lapinus from behind. Getting a nice run on him. He might get the inside line here, but he decides to pull out of it. Oh, and there's all sorts of crashes up ahead. Here Troy Banks has an issue. Into turn one, and he's just going to turn it sideways and not know where to go with it. That brings Michael Bond into play, and I think that's Michael Johnson who gets sent wide. And oh, maybe that's Casey who is the one getting involved there as well. He just goes off track. Jeremy. Oh, and Michael McCoy. Something has happened there as he gets passed by both Tyler Pierre Richards and Jeremy Lapinus. Look how high he is out there. He didn't have the grip and just tried to keep his foot down and keep his speed up, and Jeremy just follows Tyler right through. Tommy Regan holding on to third position. Carlos Lopez now having to deal with Corey Mitchell, who has made up that time and is hunting him down. He better just almost give up that position because he is coming quickly. Looks like he has just so much damage. Michael getting the slipstream now on Jeremy ahead. Lee not quite able to hang with John Miller. He's kept it under a second at least. So any little mistake will put him right back in the hunt. That's Michael McCoy to the inside of Jeremy, getting that one done. Now he's going very wide. Michael Bond. What happened there? I heard that crash happen. Oh wow, he just went straight into that wall. Maybe he gave up or got extremely distracted out there. Michael having to defend. He still goes to the outside when that inside line is so necessary. And they have fallen nearly 2 seconds off of Tyler, who is running away with it up top. Or not up top, but in third position. And Corey's got the lead of the GT1s yet again. Casey almost goes to the inside there. Craig Tessiter is having some issues in that AMG. into turn one. He hasn't looked extremely steady through there multiple times. Looks very squarely under braking. Richard Swindell wraps up this little group in 14th position. Andrew Rasmussen in his Audi here looks a little bit damaged on that front left. And I was going to say earlier that it's so important to keep your car looking fresh to do well here because of long straights, as Corey found out yesterday, but I guess his car isn't that dinged up to really slow him. Well, we're coming up on some lapped cars here. That's David Fendick to the outside. Haven't mentioned Dustin very much. He's in 4th position. Running at the tail end of that group. Oh, and the retribution. Oh, he's feeling feisty out there. Oh, that's Carlos Lopez dealing with Tommy Regan to the outside of T1. Pushing him back to Dustin Burkhalter. This is starting to allow Corey to get a little bit of breathing space. But the top 4 are still neck and neck. Only about 2 seconds between them. Excellent racing here from Craig Ream and Jeremy Linus. With the battle for 5th as Michael McCoy was able to get 2.5 down the road in his Ferrari. Tyler Pierre Richards still 1.7 down the road for him. John Miller barely hanging on to the lead of the GT3s. He takes to the inside, which is the place to be. He knows that he can defend there. He's done it before. And Ali has to wait to mount another charge. Kicks up a bit of dust into T1 behind them. Jeremy pulls out of that move. Brian's in, hunting down Ken Kruger for 7th. Just a super battle going on here for the top 3. It really is a battle for the win. Ooh, as Tommy Regan gets a little loose there. 17 minutes into the race, I believe we should start seeing them coming to for their pit stops the next 3 or 4 laps. Here's Dustin Burkhalter. had a little accident himself coming into T1 here. Coming in very hot. It does lose it. Manages to keep hold of it. Back with Tommy Regan. The two leaders take a very inside line, inviting Tommy back into this battle. Jeremy has managed to get back by Craig Ream there. Oh, excuse me, right to the inside goes Carlos Lopez Jr. for the lead of the race. Corey Mitchell will have the inside of the next corner though. We'll see how they come out onto the straight. It might even be Tommy Regan getting invited to this battle in a moment. Carlos is forced to actually no, he's getting the run on the outside, which is surprising. We have not seen the speed out there. They're coming up to some lap traffic now. I wonder how that's going to come into play. Carlos drops back in line, has to get around them, and there comes Tommy Regan barreling down the middle of all these cars. Tyler Pierre Richards just ahead of Michael McCoy. He's finally caught him up. There's a nice little battle going on there, and there's Carlos Lopez getting the lead of the GT1s and of the race. Out top, Corey trying to get that draft now. Tommy has not really been able to threaten at all. Carlos at the same time decides to come in for his pit stop. I thought we were going to see them coming in soon. Tommy Regan follows right behind him. Bjorn Benches has already beat them there. Last lap, Michael Johnson comes in for his. It looks like he is also getting tires. Not though, he's a 21-second pit stop. Bjorn does a 15.9. Andrew Rasmussen does a 12.9, which is what I'm expecting from the GT3, something in that area. Steven Liston does 20 seconds in there. The GT1s should have a much longer pit stop. And it's in the 17-second range is what we're probably going to see from them. We got 16 from Bjorn. Bryce Carter comes in for his. Carlos Lopez back on track. May have some lapping to do here. That's David Fendick in the mix there in between these guys, but looks like Tommy's able to clear him pretty quickly. Corey's entering now. He will get some of that damage dealt with as well, which will definitely help his cause. But he only got one lap in. But the other guys didn't. But I imagine he was probably pushing it pretty far to try to stake his claim. These GT1s take a lot of fuel, so they were probably running out around this time, and we're only 21 minutes into the race. We have all of the GT1 runners in the pits already. Corey Mitchell does a 17.5, and there is Carlos Lopez around the outside. Corey Mitchell down to third place after that lap. Come off terrible there. 1.3 behind Tommy Regan. He exits the pits in third. what an outlap by Carlos and Tommy to make that happen. A couple guys coming in for their pit stops now. And some of them need them because they've had some couple accidents out on track. Carlos Lopez out top. Looks like he's going to have some lap traffic to deal with, but a bunch of them coming into the pits now to get out of his way. Tyler Pierre Richards just holding ahead of Michael McCoy, and they're coming up to their own GT3 lap traffic now. We'll return to the guys in the pit lane in the second. And he's going to just try to put his nose to the inside. Might get a run out there with these guys slowing up Tyler. They are embroiled in their own little battle. Tyler takes to the inside, not the best line to take. Michael might be able to take advantage of it. He does not get a good exit. Into the pits, Ali does a 13.7. Greg Green back on track after pitting for 12.4. Troy Banks is in again. Thought we just saw him come into the pits a moment ago. Carlos Lopez defending from Tommy Regan now. As Corey, Corey has fallen back 2.3 now, so he's lost another second on these guys. And the battles between Tommy and Carlos in the second half of the race now. And right on time there is lap traffic all over this course for them. And I sure hoped you didn't need to go into the pits there, because Tommy Regan was taken to the inside and blocking off that pit entrance. So Richard Swindells comes into the pits for 10 seconds. Hopefully he has enough to finish the race. And Tyler Pierre Richards slots back into third position. Michael McCoy still hot on his heels, waiting for him to make a mistake. Andrew Rasmussen now closing on the final 10th position for the GT3 class. Corey Mitchell now starting to close on these guys in the final 10 minutes of this race. Corey Mitchell in third. Having to breathe off the throttle you hear now to keep hold of his tires. Keep it out of the wall on the outside. Oh, and it looks like Tommy spun it just ahead of him. He's in the grass now and comes out 3 or 4 seconds behind them. And now it's Corey Mitchell trying to keep hold of his Corvette, make sure he can battle with Carlos towards the end of this race. Such a bummer from Tommy Regan there. Troy Banks on the inside of Mark Bray for 15th position. Wow, something has happened maybe in the pit stops. But nope, not really. John has carved out himself a nice 9-second gap above Elise Lee. Was not able to hang with him. And Dustin Burkhalter back to the pits. Corey is starting to close yet again. After all his rough luck this race, he's going to take first away from these guys for the third time, once in qualifying and twice during the race. Here he comes trying to get to that inside. Carlos protects that apron. Trying to get the cutback on him here. Realizes that Carlos is just putting his car slow enough in the right position there that he can't quite get the cutback on him. Richard Swindells tries to get up close with Andrew Rasmussen. And then there's some mixed class racing in the midfield. Carlos holding on for another lap. I love the two different sounds of these cars in terms of I think the Aston Martin is a V12 or a V10 if I'm not mistaken. It's just the difference between high number of cylinders and low displacement versus fewer cylinders and more displacement as that. Oh goodness, and they almost touch as Corey switches sides. They do touch coming into turn one. Corey takes out the leader, Tommy Regan. Sorry, Carlos Lopez, as Tommy Regan approaches and is going to be back into this fight. Oh, Carlos can't drive his car. There's something wrong with it. Corey takes the lead of the race. Tommy Regan slots into third. That's going to put Dustin Burkhalter back into third. Such a bummer for Carlos. Let's take another look at that, as I thought they were almost going to touch right there. Oh, I think they might have, and that gave him a little wiggle, and then Corey just gets on the brakes and just tries to turn in. There's no tires left, and torpedoes it right into the side of Carlos's rig. Well, that move was definitely coming, but he did not want to take the lead quite like that. Corey Mitchell has got to be dealing with some more damage on his car yet again. Doesn't look too substantial at the moment. John Miller still cruising out front for the GT3s. No issues for him. Michael not really able to pressure Tyler at the moment and get in the podium. Kent Kruger has made one up on Brian Zinn into 7th position. Jeremy Lapinus just just a cool 10 seconds ahead. Never mind. I can't believe what drama we have had at the front of the GT1 class. Really elbows out stuff. Actually, whatever class is leading, we see some real elbows out from them. Oh, and there's Tommy Regan. They're coming up on some lap traffic here. Going to make it a little hairy towards the end of this race. About 2.5 minutes to go. So we should get a couple more minutes of racing here. Here's Craig Tessiter to the inside. He started to control that Mercedes a little bit better into that braking zone. He was not comfortable earlier. Side by side, Tommy pushes them into the braking zone, but he has to go very wide around it. minute and a half to race. We will finish this lap and have another lap. So this is our penultimate lap here at Texas Motor Speedway. The battle for the lead still going on for the GT1s. We've had many different leaders out there. For the GT3s, it's been the John Miller show from the get-go. And he's just been very steady out there. Tyler very desperate to get by this lap traffic, giving them the lights out there. I believe that is Ajay Kundambi here. Takes to the outside and lets these two through. These two have been battling pretty much for half this race here. Oh, and we are out of race time. We are waiting for these guys to come across the finish line for the final time, and that will be it. It is Corey Mitchell who has been able to take that win. Tommy Regan comes in second, and as I thought, Dustin Burkhalter is eventually going to come in third as long as he can keep it out of the wall. John Miller is going to round the final turn for the GT3s here and win it for them. Ali Salih is coming in second place. And that's Tyler Pierre Richards able to hold on to that final podium position ahead of Michael McCoy. Congratulations to all of our racers able to complete this slugfest here at Texas Motor Speedway. This is a good track, and we're going to have to do some more road courses like this in the future. It has provided great racing all 3 nights, and I have thoroughly enjoyed it. Everybody's taking their pictures out there on the oval section. See if we can't bring up our race results here for you. Of course. A horse, of course. I am the horse, in case you didn't know. All right, I will just run them down for you, even though they are all off kilter here. We have Corey Mitchell on pole position and took home the win. Tommy Regan was able to squeak into second place. Dustin Burkhalter into third. Bjorn Benches in fourth. Bryce Carter into fifth. And Carlos Lopez retired from the race. In the GT3 class, a little bit lodging here. We got John Miller from the pole position all the way to the race win. Ali Salih wrecks up next to him the whole way. Comes in second. Tyler Pierre Richard holds off Michael McCoy the entire race for third place. Craig Ream in 5th place, followed by Jeremy Lapinus. Just behind him, it was neck and neck for them the whole time. Kent Kruger brings it home in 7th. Brian Zinn, Michael Johnson, and Andrew Rasmussen makes out the top 10. That's Richard Swindells, followed by Casey Kuntz, Stephen Liston, Troy Banks, Craig Tessiter, Mark Gray, Ajay Kandambi, David Fendick, and I believe that is it for our GT3 runners out there. That's not what I wanted to put out there. As always, hit that thumbs down button, never subscribe, and hit that bell an even number of times. We are taking some time off. We will be here on Sunday though, so we just got a little break this week. Everybody be safe this New Year's, and I will see you in 2021, everybody. Be safe out there.